General MacArthur drops a atomic bomb.
Alright everyone, welcome back. This is turn 1, 1951 for the Allied forces. Purchases. The United States is buying a tech die, 2 diplomacy, a jet, an infantry, and a transport. NATO is buying 2 diplomacy, 2 tech, 3 tanks, 2 mobile artillery, and a fighter. And SATO is buying 2 diplomacy, 2 tech, and a mech, and they are saving 3 IPC, and the United States saved 1. Russia and China are both paying to block the diplomacy. So we'll do those rolls quick. One second here. So I remember. Okay, so China has to split their 2 dice up by 1, and then the Russians are going to use their 2 to block. Okay, so the United States is going for Saudi Arabia, looking for 6s. Fail. Okay. NATO is going for Egypt, and they failed. And then SATO is looking to flip or to influence Indonesia. They failed too. Fails all around this time. Guess the communists should have just banked and hoped that they wouldn't get it. Alright, so for technology, the United States is rolling 1. They are going to go for advanced sonar, which if you unlock advanced sonar, if there is a destroyer present, all the submarine stats go down by 1. So attack and defense go down by 1 die roll. Or no, not defense, just attack. So the attack goes down by 1. All right, so the U.S. for advanced sonar. Fail. Okay, NATO is going for heavy tanks, which allows tanks to hit on a 4 or less, both in attack and defense. And they unlocked it. And SATO is going for war bonds, and they got it. So there was some successes, some not. So we'll quickly get those on our little chart here. So let's see here. SATO gets war bonds, and NATO marked heavy tanks. And heavy tanks are worth 8 IPC. Okay, so now we will move over and we'll get we'll start plotting out the attacks, and we'll be right back. All right, so before we move into the attacks, the United States, even though it saved 1 IPC, quickly caught that they wanted to repair their battleship, so that'll be fully repaired at the end of the turn. Okay, not many attacks this turn. So the Italian army is going to leave northern Italy and go into Austria. Is going to be backed up by ground forces from France that are going to blitz through southern Germany, as well as some air power and an airborne division. The 1st British Airborne Division from Britain has come over to take part in the attack as well. And then SATO is going to try and buy time in Southeast Asia and counterattack in Burma. So we'll start, if anything, we'll start with the Burma attack, so we'll get that all set up. All right. 3 infantry, 3 artillery. We got 2. Got 5 infantry that'll hit on a 1. An infantry and artillery that'll hit on a 2. A fighter on 3, and actually, whoops, that'll be 6 infantry out 1. Yes. Okay. All right. So 6 infantry at 1. We'll just roll 3 dice at a time. No. No. 2 for 2. Nothing. 1 for 3. Okay, and that's 1 Chinese infantry. So China then rolls 6 for 2. Oof, not a good start. 2. And another 1. Ooh, that really hurts, Sato. Oof. So let's see, that's 3 infantry for 1, infantry artillery for 2, and a fighter. No, we're going to retreat. So we're going to retreat from the attack, and we're going to retreat. If I remember correctly in the Axis and Allies rules, once you retreat, you can retreat to any nearby position. So all the Sato forces will retreat into Malaya. I think that's right. I'll have to reread on that. They will retreat into Malaya. And the battle was a failure. Okay. Pull these red arrows off. All right, and then we will move over to the battle in Austria. Oops. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so there's 2 artillery for NATO, which will support 2 infantry. We have an airborne division. Airborne hits on a 2 or less if it's conducting an airborne operation. We have 6, 7 tanks. We have 3 mechanized infantry and combined arms. Tanks can also support mech infantry. So all 3 mech infantry will hit on a 2. So for mechanized infantry, they can either be supported by artillery or a tank. And then we've got 2 fighters for 3. There's enough tanks for a tactical bomber to hit on a 4. A jet, and a strategic bomber. And then the defenses in Austria. What's that? 4. Oh, no, this might not have been a good idea. 8. 8 Soviet infantry with 2 artillery and 5 tanks. The Russians don't have any air power that can scramble to defend them. So, okay, so we got 2 NATO infantry for 1. Misses, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 6. Then we got 8 for 2. 1. 2. And then we got 7 tanks. 2. Oh, 1. 4. Okay, that's 3 hits. And we got the 2 fighters. Misses. Tactical bombers also have, so tactical bombers and submarines have target select. So the tactical bomber has to get a 1. Misses, and then the jet and strategic bomber for 4. another one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the Russians have 10 for 2. I have 5 dice here, so we'll roll 5. So that's 2. 2 and 2. And then there are 5 tanks for 3. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, looking at the damage, that might have been too much for, that might have cost NATO too much to try and do. I think our best chance right now is to, because we have no infantry, or mechanized infantry to back up. Yeah, we have no mechanized infantry or regular infantry to back up. These would probably start hitting really hard real quick. These are all the dead. I think we're going to have to retreat. I was hoping my gamble in Austria was going to work, but I don't think it's going to work. So, yeah, we will pull the NATO forces back. We'll quickly get everything reoriented, and then we'll go into the non-combat turn. All right, so now we'll go into the non-combat turn for the Allies. We'll start here with the United States, or over here in North America first. Oops. Okay, so we are going to take we're going to take the 11th Airborne Division and an artillery, load it up on this air transport, and we'll go 6 spaces over to Portugal and land there. Meanwhile, back in North America, you guys will all move up. Oops. Come here. This tactical we'll go forward to the Azores. This tactical will go forward to the Azores. This fighter will go 1, 2, 3, 4 to Iceland. The jet in Iceland can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll land in Holland, Belgium at the NATO headquarters there on the Schaeff Army. Coming back down here real quick. The U.S.'s atomic weapon is going to move to the Azores as well. These NATO forces are going to come down. This transport's going to come down, and then this transport's going to pick these two and come down and drop off in the eastern United States too. Try and start forming a convoy to Europe. I think I might have made some purchase mistakes in the first turn already. Okay, anyways, all right, now we'll shift our focus to Europe. Okay, so in France, there are 2 artillery guns that are going to move from France and move into southern Germany to reinforce the United States. They are also going to move knocked something over. We're also going to move one of their anti-aircraft guns from Paris and put that in southern Germany. Bulk up the anti-aircraft defenses there. This infantry will come into northern Italy. These 3 infantry will come into northern Italy to join the Italian army that just got smashed in its attack against Austria. The ground forces that are currently at NATO headquarters, 3 infantry and artillery and 2 tanks, will move forward into northern Germany and join the Army of the Rhine and reinforce the ground forces in northern Germany. Let's see here next. This infantry will come up into Belgium, and for the NATO forces there, this NATO tank will head to northern Germany, go to northern Germany. In Italy, what we're going to do a combined move. So we're going to first come down here, pick up these 2, and then all these ships with the U.S. fleet will move to C-Zone 99 and drop off the infantry and tank in Israel. And we will form a fleet off of Israel. This fighter, actually no, that fighter will stay. One of the anti-aircraft guns there in southern Italy will head north and join the Northern Italian Army to help it in its anti-aircraft guns. Let's see here. And then we have this force in South Africa that's going to jump on the transport. So if naval ships don't take part in combat, so naval ships get a non-combat movement of 3 if they weren't in any naval engagements. So they get a non-combat movement of 3, an attack movement at 2. So 1, 2, and we can either go and we could reinforce Israel, or we could reinforce Pakistan and help Sado. Honestly, I think the Middle East is in more trouble, so we'll move this infantry and tank as well up to Israel. Whoops. So we'll bring these ships 1, 2, 3 up to 83. They will debark the infantry and tank in Israel as well. So the Navy forces will now join the American naval forces here off of Israel. So now that naval force is 2 submarines, 3 destroyers, a carrier with a fighter, 2 cruisers, and a battleship. And hopefully that will be enough to deter the Russians. Or at least we hope that it will deter the Russians. Meanwhile, this fleet here will join this group, and that fleet is represented right here. So this fleet will add 2 destroyers, a submarine, and 2 transports to its forces. We'll pull those off. 2 more destroyers and a submarine. Whoops. Okay, going back. Actually, no, because we need the transports now. So that's 3 transports. In fact, this fleet is actually going to go up to 113, and then we're going to pull off of the UK right here. So let's see, so this is 2 transports worth. All right, this is 3 transports worth of, so these units, 3 transports worth of units, are going to go up to 113 and debark in northern Germany to reinforce NATO there. These fighters, all these planes are going to go to France. We're kind of like Russia. On France, we are going to build an air army there. Oops, sorry, off center. The NATO forces in Scotland will remain, but the planes here in Scotland, 1, 2, 3, 4, they will go to France as well and join the lovely air army that is forming up there. Okay. I think we're good there so far. Norway is fine. Okay, over here in Southeast Asia, we're gonna move you guys to protect that. And then, yeah, we gotta leave. Well, we'll take this transport, come here, pick him up, bring him back, and we'll deploy him in Thailand as well. At least have a small defense force in Thailand. Then over here, we're not going to move any of our forces off the Philippines. We can't move anything off of Taiwan. Down here in Australia, this jet's going to go 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and land in the Philippines. This naval task force is going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to take those 2 transports, which will transport the infantry, the tank, and 2 Marines to the Palau Islands. This infantry and artillery will come back to New South Wales. We'll figure out how to get them transported out. This fighter in New Zealand, it's going to go 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, land in New Guinea. Obviously the infantry is still trapped in New Zealand. And then finally for the United States, 1, 2, 3. So this force is going to head to Japan with the infantry and anti-aircraft gun to defend up there. This destroyer is going to come and join the strategic bomber. The strategic bomber will come up to Japan as well. The Marine and aircraft will stay in Okinawa, kind of be a last bastion there. This fighter is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, land on the carrier. And then over here in the western United States, this jet is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, land on the carrier. The rest of the force is going to go 1, 2, 3. Just want to keep it out of the way of the Russians. And it is bringing with it the Marines and this anti-aircraft gun. I will swap that out for an anti-aircraft gun later. This air transport, this NATO unit's going to go here. This air transport's going to go up to Alaska. The strategic bomber is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Land in Japan as well. Goodness. Japan's getting cluttered. We're going to abandon Hokkaido and move these forces off of Hokkaido. Drop and bring them down to Japan. I think that's just about it for all the Allied non-combats. Yeah, I think that's it for all the Allied non-combats. So at the end of the turn, well, not the end of the turn, now we'll deploy. So Sato is going to deploy their miner in Malaya. praying to God that it doesn't fall. NATO is dropping 3 tanks in France, so we'll just drop them right there on the battle board. And then the 2 mobile artillery and a fighter are going to deploy in southern Europe, or southern Italy. And then for the United States, the jet, infantry, and transport are going to deploy in the eastern United States as well. All right. So, at the end of the turn, Sato gets 29, the United States 58, and NATO 62. So that's it for turn 1 of the Allies. Didn't really go as planned, and they're have to see how we can maybe try and get out, try and reverse some of our fortunes. Boy, very disappointed in this first turn. Well, that's it for now, guys. So until turn 2, take care, guys.